Hey, welcome back to Rev Limited. Today in the shop we have my 2001 Toyota Tacoma. I've had this truck for over 10 years and no, it's not for sale. Today we're actually replacing the radiator. So we've had some leaking for a while. Every time I get out of the vehicle, at least for the past few weeks, I've been smelling some coolant. And doing some research, it looks like Toyota now uses Denso radiators. So I got this Denso unit, and yeah, let's just go ahead and put it in. We'll start by draining the radiator. I'm going to remove the cap. I have a bucket underneath the radiator and loosen the petcock. So on the passenger side, all the way down at the bottom, it's leaking out of the back, it's dripping down the pan. Alright, so we're going to try to do this as easy as possible. So I'm going to remove the shroud, move it towards the engine, and see if that gives us enough room to slide the radiator up. Now we got the shroud loose. I'm going to remove the upper radiator hose. Wow.
Accident.
Gravity always wins.
Don't panic, it's only 6 feet away.
Stay. This is really not terrible. Alright, look at the bottom of the shroud. There's a plastic metal clip here and a metal clip on the other side. Remove those clips. We should be able to remove the lower portion of the shroud. Yep. Slide the shroud out. Alright, so next we need to remove the transmission lines. I've been avoiding pulling the skid plate off the bottom, but I think it will be a lot easier for cleanup to just go ahead and remove that skid plate, and then we'll have a lot better access to those lines. Let's do that. Okay, got it. It's heavy. Need to pressure wash it.
Pressure wash it.
Probably need to paint it. Okay, so now we're going to remove this transmission line and this transmission line, and in hopes to stop the bleeding, I'm going to stick a bolt in it. Too small. Too small. Alright, I'm glad we got the bigger ones. You see what size that bolt was? 7/16. Alright, so now we have the transmission lines removed. We have both upper and lower radiator hoses removed. The only thing that's left is the overflow tank and 4 bolts holding it in. The 4 bolts are actually accessible through the grill, and in my truck they are actually gold colored. You see the gold color right there? Alright, that's all 4. apparently there's 4 different radiators available for these Tacomas. So make sure you get the right one depending on if you have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, automatic or manual transmission. Alright, so one difference I'm seeing here is the original is threaded for the radiator shroud, whereas on this one it uses like a speed clip. It's a little bit cheaper quality, but this is the Denso unit. It's a Denso 221-3138. Okay, and if you'll notice there are some hooks right here. And it looks like these need to hook onto the radiator support and it will hold itself in place. Alright, so on this particular unit, this tab is either bent. Oh, it is bent. You can see right there. So it must have got bent during shipping and I couldn't get it on there. Alright, so let's get some pliers or something. Alright, so I've got to bend this up and out. Okay, that looks much better. Much better. Okay, so now the hooks are holding it in place. And just got to replace those 4 bolts. Okay, so now to get these 12mm bolts back into the radiator through the radiator support. We're going to try a few different ways, and first thing I'm going to do is use the swivel. I'm going to put some tape around it to give it a little bit more support and put a small piece of tape over the top. Bend it down just a little bit. Get it in there, put a little bend on it. Yeah. We're gonna have to move the radiator to the right just a little bit. All right, so we have 1 bolt in on the top. The passenger side bolt looks like it's gonna line up, but it is really close to the inside. The bottom side's here. Okay, so there's the bottom bolt. It is too close to the inside, so moving the radiator over to the right, which is the driver's side, was what we need to do. But on this side, there's a good shot. If we go over any more to the right, it's going to get into the radiator support. So let's go ahead and clearance those holes because it's not going to fit. Might as well do them all. Alright, we're going to use the mini die grinder, aka the Buzz, with a, what is this, carbide side cutting bit. And just go ahead and clearance these holes to make sure everything can fit. Since I had to clearance the holes, we have some raw steel. So I'm going to use some rust preventative, just any kind of Rust-Oleum or spray paint. Okay, take 2. Bend it down just a little bit so it will line up. Starting. Okay, I think it stopped, so I'm going to back it off just a couple of turns. Worked good. Alright, so it's official. You don't have to remove the brush guard or the grill. Now I'm going to remove the tape to make it easier, since we don't need the retention of the bolt. Okay, looks good. Okay, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to use a Gates 21534. According to O'Reilly's, this is a cut to fit for the upper and the lower. So here are the two that I purchased. They're the same. And the lower, looks like we just need to cut off about 2 inches. The upper we may not have to cut. It is shaped differently though, so we'll have to make sure it's gonna clear the radiator shroud. This piece on the top is cut at a bad angle, so I'm gonna try to smooth that up. I think it needs to be about right here where my thumb is. Alright, that looks like it'll fit. So the top, all I did was smooth it up to where it was more flush. And the bottom I cut approximately 1 inch. Let's see. About 1.25 inches roughly. Just transfer over these clamps. It's all the way on. I'm not going to put the clamp on until I get the bottom in. Alright, that's a good fit. We're not kinked, so we're good to go. And then I'm going to put the clamps back on the bottom. That's where they were from the factory. That's where they were. Okay, next will be the shroud. We're going to put this piece in first, just to put it into place. The clips need to be pointed towards the front of the vehicle. Probably could have fed that through the bottom as well, since we still have the skid plate off there. Let's see. It might be easier to clamp it in from the bottom. Okay, next, mount the 10 mils to hold the shroud in place. Get them all started before cranking them down. And since these have the speed clips, it looks like we're gonna have to move them all just a little bit to make them line up. It's the same thing, it's gonna be too tight. You always want to leave a little gap between the end of the rubber and the clamp itself. Get this one started, and I'll get those back too. Alright, once we get to the point where it won't take much more, we can crank it up, turn the heater on full. Let's go ahead and do that. Crank it up, turn the heat full blast, wide open. Alright, engine's been running for about over 5 minutes, probably closer to 8 minutes, and we are up to operating temperature. The heat is still on, feels good. Good. And so far, let's see, this is the 2nd gallon. The 2nd gallon is almost out. Okay, so now let's check the transmission fluid. I know we lost some, so it shouldn't be a whole lot. The engine is warm. All right, let's see. So the cold line is down here, the cool line. There's the hot line. So let's go ahead and put about half a quart in it and see if that'll get us up there. Okay, got some Toyota automatic transmission fluid, and this is not full, so let's see. I'm gonna put most of it in there. Alright, let's check it again. Alright, we may have to drive it, but it looks like the mark is on just the bottom side of the hot. And it's rolling down, so we'll drive it and test it again. Okay, we just took it around the block, so let's check the coolant again. Alright, we are at the top, so we should be good. I will keep an eye on it, and the next time I drive it, let it cool and check to see if it needs to be topped off, but that's the best way to bleed it. Alright, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and comment and come back for more. Thanks.